welcome back to another episode of the podcast. This is our special Monday edition, Dev Minutes. I have my developer friend Sarah here with me.
Say hello, world.
And today we are talking about IDEs. What does that stand for, Sarah?
Integrated Development Environment. I'm not 100% sure on the I, though.
Integrated Development Environment. That sounds right.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, look, there it is. It says Integrated Development Environment.
Perfect. Which basically is a glorified text editor for coders and software developers and the things that we do here at Pixel and Hammer. It handles all of our HTML and our PHPs and our CSSs and our div tags and our styling and anything else we might need to do in order to create a fully functional website. Now, there are so many of them out there. And this kind of just came to me last week randomly, because I saw a YouTube video tutorial and, they were using this one and I thought, you know what? I thought it'd be great to talk about, on one of these episodes. And I think, it might shock some people and I'm curious to hear what you have to say, but I think, before we get into that, let's just jump off the bat. And so you use Code Anywhere primarily, right?
That is my preference, yes.
Okay. So, why does that work for you? I mean, so obviously it's web-based, correct?
Yes. So I think a lot of developers sort of choose their IDE based on its features for like, shortcuts and, command or key commands and stuff like that, but that's not something that's hugely important to me. What's hugely important to me is the fact that I'm working on 3 different computers given any week. Right. So I have to work remotely. I can't really set up a local dev environment for every project on all 3 computers. That's just a pain in the butt. So any IDE I use needs to have like really good SSH and like integrated FTP capabilities, stuff like that. So I can work remotely, and that like Code Anywhere just fits that bill perfectly.
Right. So then so if you start a new project with Code Anywhere, there's no local files that you're constantly editing? It's all cloud-based?
So you can either sort of set up like a container, which is sort of like building your own DigitalOcean server or something like that, which you can work off of. You can connect directly to another server or another computer. You could work off of a Bitbucket repo. There's a bunch of different ways you can work with Code Anywhere, but everything is saved somewhere else.
Right. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. And then, I mean, obviously it has all of the, I'm assuming has all the like expected, right. So you got your editor, your remote connections, terminal, revisions, etc. How do the revisions, are they working through Bitbucket or do they have their own like revisions thing that they use?
They have their own revisions things for the files. So they keep a temporary copy of old files that you can go back and look through.
Got it. And then have you found that this is, so it's browser based. Have you found that it's like slow or sluggish at times, or have you had like problems with loading? Maybe it's like a file with 6,000 lines of code. Like, does it handle that well?
Really, really big log files it doesn't like very much. And my only other complaint with it is that it does not do, because it's through the browser, it doesn't do like FTP uploading very well, especially if you're doing a bunch of files. So I typically have to go into a different program for doing big uploads.
Like the initial push of like Statamic or something.
Well, like if I pull it through the command terminal, it's fine.
Right.
But if I'm like actually using like an upload interface to upload a folder with 200 images, it's going to take a bit because you're like, it's as if you're uploading.
Right.
But besides that, for the most part, it's pretty snappy. I don't run into many issues. I think like maybe once a month I have an issue where I have to like restart just refresh the page. But it also saves where you're at too. So I can be working on something here, and then when I go home and pull it up on my computer there,
right,
it has all the same tabs open.
Right. Okay. That sounds good. I might I don't know. I want to make this switch because like these last couple of weeks, like Coda has just done nothing but like piss me off. Like, so what I'll do is I'll set up publishing in my Coda projects. So anytime I make a local change, it like goes to my publishing thing and then I hit upload so it's live on whatever I'm working on. But the major problem is that whenever I go to do, like, for example, my latest Statamic install, I don't use that feature. So I just initially drag and drop all my Statamic files into the project on the server. Once it's done uploading all those, Coda recognizes that and it goes to the publishing feature. And now I have a list in my publishing thing with like 1,000 different files that I already just uploaded. Mm-hmm. So I hit clear all, and then it freaks out because I'm clearing out all like 5,000 files, and it like doesn't like it, and it freaks out, and it gets really slow, and it takes up a lot of time. And also, this last week, I meant to talk to you about it, but whatever.
It's been a crazy couple of weeks.
Like so I have publishing set up. I have my remote directory set up, and I have my local directory set up. And I know they're set up right because I've done this 1,000 times. And my publishing is working, but when I hit upload, it's not like uploading it to those. Like if I edit like the home.html template in my Statamic install, it's not like replacing or attempting to upload it into wherever it goes. And I've looked in like other folders on the server, I've looked in other places, and it's like nowhere to be found. So it's just like faking this upload of this file. So I've been dragging and dropping all of my recent project stuff whenever I need to like update it, and that works obviously. So I don't know if it's a Coda thing. I don't know if maybe it's a permissions thing, because I had to change some of those, but then like when I went back and looked, everything was fine and how it should be. So I don't know. It was just upsetting me. So then I was like, well, man, maybe why don't we just switch? And then I started thinking about everything that I used before. And I think before that I came from Sublime, which is kind of like, I'd say it relates most to Coda just because it's like it pretty much does the same thing and kind of has the same interface. I think Coda is a bit more established than Sublime is, but I've only ever used Sublime.
I definitely think Sublime is more popular than Coda. Right. I think Coda is very like robust, but it does tend to be a little bit slow, and it only, I don't know, my biggest thing is it's only for Mac.
Right.
So I have to have a Mac at home in order to
That's true.
use it.
Yeah.
But I do like Coda for its like uploading stuff. Like it has a lot of nice infrastructure with it. But
yeah, because they have transmit built in. So, yeah. So I've used that. What did you use before Code Anywhere?
Before Code Anywhere, I used a lot of times I go back to my default, which is Notepad++.
Right.
I have a ton of plugins for it. It's customized to oblivion.
Right.
But that's probably one of my favorites, although it's not as pretty looking, and it's more like a starter IDE than anything else.
I think out of the box it's just bare bones, right? I feel like I mean, this is
it's a glorified Notepad editor, but it's got tabs, it's got FTP upload, it's got all the major like features. You have to customize it a lot though to get it to where you want it.
Interesting. So I just had, because I brought this one up, I had just asked my developer friend Megan in Connecticut what she uses, and her reasoning was basically just because that's what everybody at her company uses. So they use Atom, which has a pretty cool website, but by the looks of it, I mean, let's be honest, it's kind of hard to have any of these editors look unique. I mean, basically whatever your color theme is going to make it unique, but I don't think there's much that we can do these days to not have like the left sidebar of all your files, and then the main portion of it is where you code. But I'm going to look into this too. Is this free?
I think it is. I think the
hackable
big thing
text
with
editor.
Atom is that it's
Open source.
right. So like it's meant to be customizable.
Right. Multiple planes, packages, themes under the custom.
I've never actually tried Atom. I've tried Sublime. I've tried VS Code. I've tried Brackets. Brackets is another one that's pretty simple.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think this is only for Mac too.
I think so.
But then you can pick all your themes. So okay. So I
Actually, it says other platforms there. What is that?
does it? Oh yeah. Oh. I guess EXE. So I guess it's for Windows. It doesn't really say. That's weird. I'd imagine. Okay, so Mac,
Windows. Yeah.
Windows.
Okay.
I'm sure they have a Linux thing somewhere too. So in college, they required us to have the entire like Adobe. I think at the time it was like CS5, 5.5 maybe. So everybody had that. So everybody was coding on Dreamweaver, and we didn't know it at the time, but it was a freaking nightmare. And they encouraged us because it was at the time where like we weren't primarily coding with PHP files. We were coding with HTML files. So we utilized like the visual editor a lot. We shouldn't have been, but we were. And back then it was garbage. But I think, I'm not sure, I haven't decided, but I think I might switch back. And just because I kind of want to see what they've done with it now that we're in like CC. Obviously it looks like they still have the visual editor, which I can't imagine it's gotten worse. But
I don't know, with CSS Grid now out, are they keeping up with it?
They have to. They would have to, right? For as much money as they charge for this product. Multi-monitor support for Windows. Now you can expand your workspace by displaying your page on multiple monitors. Okay. Dynamic display on every device. Build responsive websites that adapt to fit any screen size. Preview your site and edit real time to make sure your page looks and works the way you want before you publish. Is that built in?
I don't know. I used Dreamweaver at a previous job, but we never used the visual editor at all. We only ever used the code editor.
Yeah, you're not supposed to.
And I mean, it had a really good feature for when we were working on an internal project, where at the push of a button we could take changes that we were working on with a dev version of it and push it directly to the live version of it at a push of a button, which was really nice. So you'd like work on something, test it out, and then as soon as it was done, you'd just push it live. It was amazing. And I never set that up. Someone else set it up for me before I got there. But I really, really liked that, at least portion of Dreamweaver.
So this is just a list of like all their updates. So I don't want that. So I don't know. I mean, cause like we're technically paying for it, with like our subscriptions and everything. But, man, I think just making a switch is just going to be like, it's just going to be time consuming.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Now I think about it, that's what they need to do. They need to make a switching tool. So like I can like, cause right now Coda has a sync feature. So technically my Coda at home and my Coda here are theoretically synced up. No,
mine doesn't work like that.
Well, yeah, it's not synced up as in like files.
No, I know. But like I can't get my Codas to sync up properly, which is why I don't use it. Yeah, because I've got like a password on my SSH key for my laptop, but I don't have one on my office computer. So like it won't
doesn't
connect.
like it. Yeah,
and I have to update things every time.
Anyway, okay, yeah. So I mean that's a flaw, but I mean it would be real cool if they could somehow like take that sync file and be like, all right, we're taking your Coda stuff and we're going to put all of your FTP passwords and connections into, Atom or Dreamweaver or, whatever you might be switching to. I don't know if that's possible.
Have you tried Code Anywhere at all?
Not, I think like once or twice when I started working here, because that's where you and Alex were. And I just needed access to like one or two things, and it was before we had Forge set up, so I was like all over the place with how to connect and where to connect and what to do it from and all that other stuff. So I've used it a couple times. But I don't know, maybe I'll go. Do we have license keys, or do we need to?
I pay for my own Code Anywhere license, but if we both were to switch, I just get the freelancer one. Because I use it for my own projects too, and you can have different setups for different things.
Got it. What's this one? Why is it free? Everything you need to get started, but that doesn't push.
I think it gives you your own container to work in, but if you want connections and stuff, you have to pay.
Oh, okay. So I can code in it, but I can't put it anywhere.
Yeah, it's more like a code pen or something at that point. But it gives you the 50 FTP connections.
Yeah,
that works for SSH ones as well.
Okay.
I think I sit around 25 between all of our servers and some of my own stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I think and that's my other thing too, is so right now in mine I have one for just our entire server entirely. But then even though client A is technically on that server, I'll have another project within Coda that's just the root and everything is just going straight there. But that's just primarily because that's where I developed it from. Because I do normally do all those files locally and stuff, but if I just ended up keeping it at just the Forge server being one that would handle 90% of everything we're doing.
That's what I do.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
It also makes it easier because you don't have to set up a new connection then when you create a new site on the server.
Right. You just go into that one and then it's there.
Yeah. And the Code Anywhere itself has its own SSH key. So you don't have to set up a separate connection for every computer you use it on.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So, oh wow. So
you should do two-factor authentication with it, but yeah, that.
So, right. So whenever I work from home, but I just got a new laptop, I don't have to go into the server that I'm working on or terminal to generate a new SSH key. I can just log into my Code Anywhere account and it already recognizes that no matter what. Okay. I like that. Interesting.
What are some of the other good? The other thing I really like about Code Anywhere is it has an in-browser terminal you can use. Which, Macs have the terminal, but I have an older Windows computer, which does not. I think Windows 10 does now, but I think I have a Windows 8 at home and it does not have a terminal. So that just makes my life easier being able to terminal into...
Wait, Windows 8 doesn't have terminal?
No.
What is that? Why is that a thing?
I don't know, because Windows people were nope, you don't need a terminal.
Huh. So you literally, it'd be really hard to be a full stack developer on a Windows 8 machine. I feel like you use terminal all the time. I know Alex did. I barely do. But I don't know, I feel like that's a big...
Windows just has a different stack of tools. They have programs for everything instead of using command line stuff.
Right. Okay.
So if you want to...
So I can get a terminal app on my Windows 8 machine, but it's just not built in kind of thing. Or a tool that'll do it. I
don't know if you can get a terminal app. I'm sure you can. But there's programs you get if you want to SSH that gives you a graphic user interface for the computer you're SSHing into instead of command line stuff.
Right. That's interesting. Yeah. I didn't know that. Okay. So yeah, maybe maybe I'll check out Code Anywhere before I hop back into Dreamweaver. I feel like Dreamweaver would be a bunch more work than Code Anywhere. My biggest thing is, I guess I always thought that it was like necessary to have, and I mean, I guess it obviously helps, but I always thought it was necessary to have, like, and I know Code Anywhere does it, but necessary to have like that just local static folder that you're working from. But
yeah, I've tried doing that because I would like to do a local development. And I know a lot of people do that. My problem is just that I'm never on the same computer from day to day. So it just takes too much time for me to set up a local environment.
Right.
For every site that we do.
Right. Yeah. And that's usually my problem. Cause I used to have like cause I have all my local sites here linked to my Dropbox folder, but Dropbox is dumb and doesn't let you link more than one account on like your official computer app. So like I have to have my personal one on my personal computer because that's like where my passwords and things are. So like I can't have my work one synced to it.
You could share the work folder with your personal one, I think. Couldn't you?
I could. I could, and then I feel like that just gets tricky, and it's just more of a hassle.
I don't know if you can sync a shared folder to your computer like that. Maybe.
I think so. I'm not sure. But it just, at the end of the day, then it comes down to, now I have to worry about Dropbox, and I have to worry about this program, and then I have to worry about this and that, and Bitbucket and all those things. And it just doesn't, I don't know. That's interesting. All right. I think what I'm going to do is, you've changed my mind. I think I'm going to set up Code Anywhere. Per user a month, billed annually, $7. All right.
Yeah, and if you ask Emily, I'm sure she'll.
Yeah, I wonder if we're paying for Coda.
I think that's a yearly license. I'm not 100% sure though. I need to check that because I could probably get rid of my Coda. Yeah.
So we could get rid of that, and then it's probably cheaper.
I think it's about $80 a year for Code Anywhere, and it's $100 for Coda.
$99 each, but is that USDA? $99. But is that just $99? Doesn't say, actually.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. So that just might be a one-time thing?
Maybe. It might be just like if you want updates, you have to keep getting the license. There's a lot of those out there.
Right. All right. Well, that's something I can look into. If not, maybe I'll just buy this myself. Whatever. Okay. So I think I'm going to do that. And then maybe if for some reason there's glaring issues and I hate it, I might switch back to Dreamweaver.
Now, I've not used Code Anywhere on any browser besides Chrome.
Okay.
I use Chrome everywhere.
Something tells me that's not going to be an issue. And that's all I use too.
So,
can you use it on your phone?
Uh-huh. They actually have an app, I believe, you can download.
Oh.
Not that I would recommend coding on your phone, but...
You never know. I think Shannon did it the other day. I think Shannon said she updated somebody's expression engine on her phone.
I thought that was fun.
Yeah, I can't imagine what that looked like. I think she said it was a lot of scrolling and zooming. Okay.
But yeah, you could get it like on a tablet and then just hook up your tablet to a keyboard or, you know,
right.
And just work like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I feel like I tried to do that before, and this was probably like, I don't know, 5-ish years ago, when like I don't think it was a huge thing, and it just was like they had a couple apps for like the iPad that you could code on, but they were poorly designed and weren't really like they were dumb. So I couldn't do it because I thought it'd be really cool to like just, I'm going to code my website on my iPad and not have to like lug around the laptop or an extra monitor or whatever it may be. Okay, cool. So we talked about Atom, Dreamweaver, Sublime Text, Coda 2, Code Anywhere, Notepad++. If you need help or you want to switch to a new text editor, a new IDE for your software or website development, check any of those out. If you haven't, I didn't know about Atom.
There's also VS Code, which is really popular.
Right, that's Microsoft, right?
Yes. Yeah. I've downloaded it, I've played with it. It's pretty good, but it just doesn't fit with, like, I couldn't get it to set up the way that I needed it to for multiple computers.
Okay.
And then there's also PHP Storm, which I've heard really good things about. But I believe that one does cost a little bit of money.
A Lightning Smart IDE for PHP programming. So does that just mean that you can only...
It's like super, super powerful and actually sort of like reads your PHP code and will give you, like, as you're typing in a class name, it autofills it for you, or a function name, it'll autofill it for you.
Oh, okay.
Like, it'll go and actually look at what those things are called and help, like, give you hints for it and stuff like that. Uh-oh.
Got it. Okay. Yeah,
but it's
pricey.
It is pricier. Yeah.
Okay. So there's so many things out there. Check them out.
Yeah, let us know what you like to use and what you think of different code editors.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, we got to get this Monday morning started. I haven't made coffee yet, and it is freezing in this office because we're transitioning from the air conditioner to the heater, and it came a lot quicker than we thought it would. I hope you enjoyed the episode. We'll see you next time on the Agency Hour podcast. Sarah?
Adios.
See you later, guys.